we are privileged to have with us the former President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Mr. President, thanks so much for making the time. How are you?
Well, thank you, Greg. I'm fine, but we lost a great one today. Rush was just a unique character, and a great friend to all of us. So we lost a really great gentleman today.
Well, he was very good to you. You were very good to him. It was really nice that he had a friend, and you had a friend in him. And we all saw the Medal of Freedom moment. I understand that Rush was not as surprised as he conveyed at that moment, was he?
Well, he knew a little bit about it, and we had to, because he was quite ill. And it's amazing that he lasted this long. Only a strong person could have. And he was actually at the hospital, and he came from the hospital, and the hospital was quite a distance away. And frankly, in a state where he had to get on airplanes, and so we gave him a little bit of a clue, and he was very excited. He was great. It was great. That was more emotion than anything else. If you look at it, that was the real deal emotion. Right? Crazy, and the other half sat totally silent. But the one thing is, everybody 100% respected Rush.
Big time. Mr. President, he was only 70 years old, and now when you see 70, that seems young. And I'm wondering, you got a few years on Rush. When a friend dies and he's only 70 years old, do you think about your own mortality for just a minute?
Well, you do think about it, but I also have friends that are in their 80s and their 90s. You look at Bernie Marcus, Home Depot. He's 93. He's 100%. It was incredible. I watched him the other night on television. He was 100%. So, I think that depending on life and genes and lots of other things, I guess it depends. But, Rush was young, relatively speaking. He was young, and he was, just got a bad deal. It was what he had was something that was not going to be beaten. Rush was young, relatively speaking. He was young, and he was, just got a bad deal. It was what he had was something that was not going to be beaten. It was not going to be beaten, and he understood that. And he thought we won the election. We did win the election, as far as I'm concerned. It was disgraceful what happened, totally disgraceful. But Rush wanted to get by the election, and he did it. And he was proud of that, but he thought the result was a disgrace.
Mr. President, I'm wondering, a lot of people miss you. We knew that Rush was sick, so people have been talking about this and kicking it around. Might be too soon, but would you be interested in filling that spot? It's, 2-3 hours on the radio every day, tens of millions of listeners. There's really nobody out there of his stature other than you who could probably command that audience. Is it something you've thought about?
He'd be a hard one to replace. We talked to a friend of yours, Sean Hannity. He said he's irreplaceable, and I view that too. I say he's irreplaceable. But people, that is one of those little things that keeps popping up. But you wouldn't want to follow Rush. It's the old story. You get somebody like that, you don't want to follow him, because some things just can't be done. What he did was so unique, because he could get up and without scripts, without anything. Now, actually, the big secret, he did work hard. I would ask him, when you go on, you just go on and wing it? And he goes, no, I actually work very hard to learn about the current events, largely. But he said, I'd work very hard for every show. And he did. He did. I always thought, maybe under your success, you have done a fantastic job. And between your mother and your father, I'm not surprised they produced you, because you are a winner. And they are winners, both of them. They're great people. He was a great commissioner. And your mother, I know your mother almost better. She'd have her big Christmas party at Trump Tower. It was so beautiful. And she's an incredible woman, the whole family. But congratulations on your success. But, Rush would do something that was very unique. He would be able to speak for 2 or 3 hours without phone calls, because that's easy. For calls come in and, whether they're hostile or not hostile or good or bad, it's calls, right? And you just talk for a little while and you do another call. He would talk for 3 hours, and he'd be very spellbinding. We had a massive audience, the biggest audience there was, ever in terms of doing that. I mean, I don't think there's ever been anybody like that. And he could talk and just talk, and it was interesting. And he wouldn't repeat, he'd talk about things, there'd be no repetition, and he was able to do it right up until the end. He was incredible, and he was really sick that last 6 months or so. He was very, very sick. So,
That you're commanding an audience. Hey, let me ask you, I hate to go political on you, but the mainstream media, a part of the left-wing media, giving Rush a really hard time, calling him all kinds of names. It's really sad. I'm wondering if you actually caught Joe Biden on the CNN town hall last night.
Well, I saw that he said that there was no vaccine when he came into office, and yet he got a shot before he came into office. And it was already in early November that we announced it, but we actually had it substantially before that. And we were giving millions of shots and millions of doses, so he was either not telling the truth or he's mentally gone. Like, literally, quote, we had no vaccine when I came into office, meaning when he came into office, and he is getting lit up on that one, because even the bad ones, even the ones that aren't exactly fans, are saying that was a bad statement. So, I don't know, maybe let's give him the benefit of that.
They're going to handle the situation. That's their business.
We had China exactly where we wanted them. And then we had an election where we got almost 75 million votes, and some say much more than that. But we had an election where we set records. We set the record between the previous election. We had 12 million more votes. We didn't want to get 12. We wanted to get 3 million more. We said we can't lose. We got 12. And bad things happened, but you've covered that and you know it. And really bad and dishonest things happened. And when they say stop the steal, they're not just kidding. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. It's like a third world country with the elections. So we have to get that straightened out. And I think get to the bottom of what happened. I also think, go forward, but we also have to go back, because we have to get back. We have to go back. I watched him last night on television, and I think it's a disgrace, frankly, between the vaccine statement, which is just, so bad and so ridiculous, where even his allies are saying they're all trying to, they're trying to go back and have it redone.
Yeah.
But I think it's just disgraceful.
Hey, Mr. President,
it's disgraceful what happened in the election. And Rush was just incensed by what happened with the tabulation. Let's call it, be nice, tabulation, the counting of votes, lots of different things. But the counting of votes, the tabulation of that election, it was disgraceful in swing states.
Well, without Rush Limbaugh on the scene, we could have a different political dynamic. Tens of millions of listeners. He's now gone, unfortunately. Yeah. Hey, you got to be thinking about 2024. I saw you driving around Palm Beach, West Palm. You still command huge crowds, parades. No other ex-president gets that. Are you thinking about running in 2024? Is your mind there yet?
Well, we had a thing the other day where we're driving along, and all of a sudden we hit, there are literally thousands and thousands of people. I guess it was pretty well covered, although mainstream doesn't like covering it because, it's too positive. But there were thousands of people waving the flag, the American flag, a Trump flag. And it was an incredible scene. And they heard I was going to be going that way, that route. And it was an incredible scene. And it grew out of nothing. And there was thousands and thousands of people. Now, there's tremendous love and there's tremendous spirit in the country. And the whole MAGA movement, and, call it MAGA, call it whatever you want, call it America first as opposed to America last. The Democrats have it as America last because they're willing to give up everything to China. Iran was willing to do anything, and now they're going to drive a tough bargain, and we have them in such great position. Such a shame if we don't get it done properly. And so many other things. There's so many other things that we're so ready to go. And what happened with the voter tabulation, voter integrity was disgraceful. Disgraceful. It's really
people miss you. It's so weird that you're not on Twitter anymore. Every now and then I hear a vibration that you might be coming back. Are those talks underway? And actually, look, you got to be thinking about running for president, right? Are you thinking that along those lines at all?
The Twitter, we're looking at a lot of different things, but I really wanted to be somewhat quiet. It hasn't been that quiet, frankly, but I wanted to be somewhat quiet. And They wanted me very much in Parley. They had a phony report that the man who was in there didn't. I mean, just the opposite. 36 million or 39 million on POTUS. And we had other sites where we had millions and millions of people. So we have, I guess, about as big as it gets, and likewise on Facebook. And they all want that. And part of the problem is mechanically they can't handle it because it's too many people. It's bigger than they are by many times. And they want to... And I'll tell you, it's not the same. If you look at what's going on with, Twitter.